Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you guys about Shadows of War, the short film that you see on my page. And it was a pretty cool concept that I came up with, and the backstory is pretty funny actually. What happened was I was heading out to go do a visual effects shot, and I hit up my buddy Ben, and I told him, I said, yo, I need somebody that can help me just do this in the shot. I need you to look up in the sky. If you look at my page, you'll kind of get an idea of what I do and the ideas I have. And then he goes, oh, like I have this guy that has this cool location. So I said, okay, cool. We did like a 40-minute drive out to what felt like the middle of nowhere. Then when we got there, he brings me to this place that literally looked like you were stepping onto the war field inside of World War II or something. And I'm not even joking. And he pretty much introduced me to Mike, and Mike said, we have all this equipment and stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I was initially going there to get a visual reference of what I wanted to do for the idea that I had. And then he pretty much told me, I have these costumes, they're all fitted to people and stuff. And so we went in there with him, with Ben and Dean, and then he actually ended up putting the uniforms on them so that I can have them inside the scene. So from there, I was like, okay, cool. Like, why not just make a quick little short film? And that's where I did Cyberstrike. And Cyberstrike was really cool. And that actually came out a lot better than I thought. And that was done in like, I'm going to say like 30 minutes of us walking around scouting the area. But once we were done that, Mike seen that project and was like, hey man, if you ever want to do something here, you're more than welcome to. And I thought to myself, like, wow, like, yo, winter's coming in just now, and I'm not going to have the time because it's going to be too cold outside and it's just not realistic for us to do anything. So I wrote up a script, and 2 weeks later, I found myself back out to the same location working with a bunch of actors and stunt guys from Toronto that I know in the community on another short film, which turned into Shadows of War. And what's dope about this is that because Mike had access to all this stuff, and I mean like vehicles that were from the war, props, he suited up everyone. He got their sizes for their boots, their uniforms, and then all we had to do was really pay for the gas. And he was actually able to let us use functioning vehicles to do some of the scenes like you seen where they were jumping out and driving through it. So I mean that added so much production value. I am eternally grateful to him for providing us that equipment, because that opportunity to do something like that alone is something that most people can only dream of. So thank you so much, Mike, for that. So when we did get there the day of, I mean, it was like -10 or something. Everyone had gloves on. They were all cold and stuff, and it was pretty wild. And we were trying to choreograph the fight scenes because I'm not in Toronto anymore. I live like 4 hours away. The stunt team actually went to the Monkey Vault, and then they choreographed a lot of those fight scenes that we used inside of the film. And when we got there, because it was so cold and the ground was so hard and whatnot, we had to improvise a lot, thinking of things that we can take out now, because I mean, we can't have people getting slammed on a cold, hard floor like that, and we didn't have any mats. So, I mean, that was a challenge in itself, along with like the timing, because like when you get to the winter time, the sun drops and changes position so quickly. It kind of looks like it's ruining the continuity of shots going piece to piece. And I had to do it in a non chronological order because we had a rolling lunch at that period. So some people would go to eat, and then some people would be kind of coming back on to set. So it was tricky. And you have to remember, like, this is done with a shotgun crew. This was me by myself, right? So it was a bit ambitious, but nonetheless, we were out there and there was a job that had to get done. So I'm responsible for that. And I had to make sure that I crossed my T's and dot my I's the best I could when it come to producing this whole entire thing within the time frame that we had to actually get it done. And the sound was an issue because we were having another issue with the boom pole and the recorder and stuff. So me having to scrap that and pretty much do all the audio on the Rode Shotgun mic, the one that I'm actually using for this video, was a whole nother thing in itself. But I mean, it recorded good enough audio that I was able to salvage it and use it inside of the film. And even at that point, that wasn't much of an option, because when you bring out people from that far away to work on a collaborative effort and inside of a project, you better damn well make sure that you're going to put out something that they're proud of too. So I mean, I had to do what I had to do, and like I said, it was my responsibility. So that was my backup, and I'm glad I had that at minimum. All in all, I was happy with how that day came out. And you have to imagine, we did all of that stuff that you see in that war sequence within, I think, 5 to 6 hours, something around there. And it was tricky, man. Like when I say that I did not stop moving, I didn't even take time to eat that day. I really had to focus on getting done what I needed to, because there wasn't an opportunity for me to make these guys drive all the way back out there for a second day. So I did the best I could. with the time I had and the equipment that was available. And I was really, really pleased with not only the result, but the fact that I had these guys that trusted me enough to come out and get that done. And they got something cool that they can put inside of their film reels. So thanks to you guys. I don't think this could have been done without you. So when I got back home now and I edited everything together, and that took me only, I think it was that night I was actually done the whole rough edit, and these guys were kind of blown away. But I felt like it needed some more backing to the story. So I called up Carlisle and we talked for a while, and then we ended up thinking of a few more scenes to put before it to provide some more context to the story before it got into it. And I think that's what helped ground it a lot more in terms of people having an idea of really what this was about, rather than us just making some action flick with a couple of guys kicking each other's ass, and you're just like, okay, why are they doing this kind of a thing, right? So I jumped in my car the next week after that and went down for the day and filmed all of these scenes with Saled at her house, who helped us with that, which was amazing, and shout outs to her. And Tony also helped us with doing the conference scene that you seen initially that happens with Carlisle and him talking inside of the room. And we actually boomed that with the NTG2 shotgun. You can actually, you don't see it, but it's actually hanging right over them inside of the scene. So the audio came out a lot better for that sequence. And then also when we did the shot inside of Soled's house, that was a bit trickier too, because I didn't have it at that moment. But nonetheless, I gave the script over to Carlisle and Shane, and man, those guys are just really good at what they do. I mean, when you have really good actors, like I know I'm good at being a DOP and editing and directing and stuff, but these guys took the script and brought it to life, and watching them take it, rip it apart, and then just get the idea or the concept for what I wanted them to do, and then just do it in their own way was just a treat to watch. And these guys are well seasoned anyways. Their IMDb's are pretty much flooded with some really cool credentials. So shout outs to those two, man. They did an incredible job, along with Tony inside of the conference scene. And like I said, all of them together, they're really well seasoned actors, and they're great at what they do. So without people like them, I don't think I could have pulled off something like this. And we did write Saled into the scene too, and she did a great job with what she did for her part inside of the film and providing the location and helping us produce different parts of it. So, I mean, like I said, it's a collaborative effort, and everything comes together cohesively when these people are able to help us out with making this stuff actually come to life. So, I mean, shout outs to everyone that's involved, man. Without you guys, I don't think any of this would have been possible anyways. And the VFX I also did myself too. And shout outs to Make Big Films. They gave me a membership to their website, and their sponsorship just helps me with including different things like that helps increase the production value. But nonetheless, when you seen the shot of Richard running from Shane when the bullets were firing and the ricochet is happening off of the floor, the blood coming out the neck of Paul when Richard stabs him, and just all of those cool little effects and stuff, like that was all stuff that was done in the previous that I did initially, where I was thinking about the concept for what I wanted to do and then shooting it in a way where I was able to go into After Effects and make these things look as realistic as possible. So yeah, that was another fun part to the project, and you will definitely see some cool stuff that's coming up that I'm going to be incorporating into some of the films that I'm going to be doing, in regards to some dope visual effects and integrating it into these scenes to make it look like it's a lot sicker. So yeah, that was a fun part too. But all in all, like, this was a great project, a great experience, many challenges, but that's how you grow. And repetition's the father of learning. And the more that you do something and identify the mistakes you're making, you could take that data itself and then you can figure out what the solution is to it. So the next time you come back to it, you have a better formula. And it's not your first, second, or third project that's gonna, you're gonna look back at and be like, this is my best work. It's like the 10th, 15th, 20th thing. And once you refine it enough, you're gonna start to see that you have this polished professional result because you kept going over that same thing over and over again, so that you can fine tune it to get to the point where, that you have stuff that you're extremely proud of that you'll put on your demo reel or put out to the world and say, this looks really good. So to me, being concerned about what people think about what you're doing or something, and this goes out to all filmmakers and stuff, no matter what level you're at, is irrelevant. Because at the end of the day, like, a person that puts out what they do and isn't scared of what people think is going to go further than the person that cowers and says, I don't want to be judged for what I'm doing because, people might say something about it. Listen, whether you do something or you do nothing, people are going to have something to say. So you might as well do what you can. And if you're going to do it the best that you can. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this. This is just my quick breakdown to Shadows of War and the films I'm doing going forward. I'm going to be doing a lot more BTS on and explaining to you guys the process rather than just showing the result. But I will see you guys on the next one. I got some stuff to do, man. Peace.